Shri Guru Shri Juta Padakamalang.
Hare Krishna. Welcome to our channel, Bhagavad-gita. Here it is, because we have Bhagavad-gita as it is. Translation and commentary by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. And we are in the 11th chapter, and I will read text 36. Arjuna vacha stane rishikesha tava prakiritya jagat prarishatya nurajyatecha rakshangsi bhitani disho dravanti sarve namasyanti shasiddha sangha. Arjuna said, O master of the senses, the world becomes joyful upon hearing your name, and thus everyone becomes attached to you. Although the perfect beings offer you their respectful homage, the demons are afraid and they flee here and there. All this is rightly done. So we are still seeing the universal form. Actually, we are not seeing the universal form. Arjuna is still seeing the universal form and speaking to Krishna about what it is he is seeing, which is a very special manifestation of Krishna showing him the whole universe as his form. And this is a very specific, this is not Krishna's eternal spiritual form like that, but it is reality, because everything is connected to Krishna, and here he is showing it to his devotee Arjuna in this way. Purport: Arjuna, after hearing from Krishna about the outcome of the battle of Kurukshetra, became enlightened, and as a great devotee and friend of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he said that everything done by Krishna is quite fit. Arjuna confirmed that Krishna is the maintainer and the object of worship for the devotees and the destroyer of the undesirables. His actions are equally good for all. Yeah, that's also one of those points that are a little hard to understand. But Krishna, he's all good. So even when he does things that look bad, they are not bad, because the outcome is good. Like we have in this in the stories of Krishna, especially when in his childhood, Krishna appeared in this world 5,000 years ago, and he started out life in a village called Vrindavan, very rural community with farming and cows and, how to say, a simple lifestyle. He was born in a royal situation, but out of out of fear for his life, because there was Kamsa who had heard a prophecy. So he feared for his life. He thought Krishna would kill him, so he tried to kill him instead. So they kind of hid him in Vrindavan, and somehow I think he found out, or maybe it was more like just in case, let's just kill all the children. But these demons, they were coming one after another. Sometimes it said it was a daily affair, and Krishna killed them. And we hear about that, and it becomes part of Krishna's Leela, which is a Sanskrit word that we often translate as pastimes, but I also heard a translation that it means adventure. So Krishna's having adventure, and everything is connected, and everyone is part of it. And in the spiritual world, there is no discord, there is no conflict, because everyone is there, they have the same idea of wanting to please Krishna out of love, and therefore Krishna wants to please them out of love, and therefore everything goes on very harmoniously. In this world, though, this is the place where we go when we don't want to be part of that relationship, when we want to stake out our own claim on existence and try to enjoy it as best as we can. And some people take that to some souls take that to the extreme, where their enjoyment comes before everything else, so they don't care who they hurt, who they harm, what they do. And we look at the world today, and we're seeing that people, out of a desire for money or enjoyment, or just simply because it's easier that way, practically speaking, prepared to destroy the planet. So these So then we live with that. We take our own karma, we take the reactions to what we do. But when Krishna was personally present, and if you haven't read Krishna book, I recommend Krishna book. Krishna book is lovely. We get to hear all about Krishna. So these demons turn up, and somebody takes the form, because they are very often shapeshifters. Somebody came as a huge big bird and prepared to kill Krishna. Someone came as a great snake, and all of Krishna's friends marched into his mouth because he was huge. So Krishna had to save them. Somebody came as a donkey, somebody came as a bull. So Krishna is fighting with them in different ways. And this fulfills different things. Like Krishna actually enjoys a playful sport of fighting sometimes. And he protects his devotees because they are living there peacefully. And they are not prepared to have this battle going on every day. So Krishna is looking out for them and protecting them. And even Krishna, when Krishna kills a demon, when we hear about the Vedic philosophy, I think the first thing we hear about is karma and reincarnation. We take birth over and over in different bodies, and all our activities come back to us in the form of karma. And that is what happens. And very many, like, we are not aiming for liberation exactly. We're aiming for connecting to Krishna, realizing our relationship to Krishna. But liberation is included, because when we do that, realize our love towards God and our desires to serve Him and please Him, when we leave this body, if we are on that pure level, we will definitely go back to the spiritual world. And there will be no more karma, no more reincarnation, no more birth in this material universe. That's not the aim. That's just a bit of a side effect. But for very many people, when they start to take to yoga and philosophy and searching after knowledge, self-realization, that is the aim. Liberation, getting rid of all that karma. Maybe not going so far as to understanding or being attracted to Krishna's personal form, but maybe just aiming for the impersonal oneness of Brahman. So these demons who come to kill Krishna, they get that for free, just because at their time of death they are touched by the personality of Godhead. So everyone benefits. So there is nothing bad, it is only good. So Arjuna has this realization because he's seeing this vision that is, when he's describing it here, we're hearing about it, we can't really see it. We can't really see how the whole universe is held together, how everything of it is Krishna, and how that particular situation of this battle is already kind of acted out. Now it just comes to, like, for it to manifest in the physical existence. So then Arjuna is peaceful because he can see how this is all within the hands of God. And sometimes we have a hard time with that type of philosophy because, so many bad things are going on and there is so much suffering. And how can we, like, it seems to be two completely separate ideas, that there's a loving, powerful God who loves us and wants the best for us. And then we're in a world where there's so much suffering, so many problems, so much pain, so much unfairness. And now we're hearing of a God who will kill the demons. And it's easy to kind of get into that sort of thinking loop. If he's supposed to be good, why does he do these things? Actually, this world, everything that happens in this world is at the same time based on our desires, our activities, and the result that's coming back to us. And also at the same time, it is a path for us to wake up to the fact that we don't really belong in this world. And at the same time, it is temporary. While we're in it, while we're on this kind of this plane, then time seems to be, we get a certain perspective of time. It seems to be very long time. So when we are suffering, it seems to be going on for a very long time. Actually, when we do come to that level of self-realization, when we are able to, I shouldn't say step into our natural existence because it was never gone, but we were covered, we didn't see it, then this whole material existence, it will fade like a dream. So in that sense, but especially when Krishna is personally there, his actions are equally good for all. That's where I ended. Arjuna understood herein that when the battle of Kurukshetra was being conducted, in outer space there were present many demigods, siddhas, and the intelligentsia of the higher planets, and they were observing the fight because Krishna was present there. When Arjuna saw the universal form of the Lord, the demigods took pleasure in it, but others, who were demons and atheists, could not stand it when the Lord was praised. Out of their natural fear of the devastating form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they fled. Krishna's treatment of the devotees and the atheists is praised by Arjuna. In all cases, a devotee glorifies the Lord because he knows that whatever he does is good for all. So we have to, because we don't have to. We don't have to do anything. We don't have to read the Bhagavad-gita. We don't have to take an interest in this. But if we want to understand a deeply spiritual subject, then we have to expand our vision. And we may not be able to see the universal form, but we can get a much deeper level of understanding of reality from taking in this aspect, the spiritual aspect, which is really the eternal reality. Everything else will dwindle and wither away. All our bodies, all our empires, all our buildings, all our material identities and whatever has been created here, it exists for a while and then it's gone. So God has really the long view, the long perspective. It's like when we have little children, they get restless. They immediately get restless. And when they're very small, they also get easily afraid because their time perspective is tiny. If you go out of the room for 2 minutes, it can be a catastrophe. Where is the mother? Where is she? Where is she? And then after a while, they grow accustomed to the fact you go, you also come back. But then when you're out, children, for a long journey, they're like, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? And you're a grown-up and you know we'll be there in maybe 2 hours. You say, we'll be there in 2 hours. And 2 hours doesn't mean anything to a little child. Are we there now? Are we there now? No, we're not there now. And then we grow up a little bit and we can also handle a journey of 2 hours or 4 hours or 8 hours. We may get a little restless, but we know where we're going. So this existence in the material world, it is temporary. Or at least every body is temporary. Every creation is temporary. And then it starts over and it starts over. But we don't have to be here when it starts over. We can go back to the spiritual existence. And that's why Krishna comes here. He comes here for so many reasons. He comes here because he's always enjoying his own activities in the spiritual world and the material world. But he comes here for the specific purpose of for us to be able to connect to him. Because if we don't know about him, if we don't hear about him, if we don't get reminded of him, then how are we going to have the determination to move forward for spiritual realization? And when our spiritual process consists of hearing God's names, hearing the activities of him, hearing about his names, activities, qualities, associates, how are we going to do that if we don't know about him? So he comes here, he displays his pastimes with his devotees. He sorts the situation out. When he appeared, he actually appeared because of the prayers of the demigods. They say this world is overrun with these demons. We use the word demon. We sometimes say there are different Sanskrit terms. But the fact is that the demigods and the devotees of God, they want to be part of the harmony of the existence, where we see everyone as part of God, but we particularly connect to God. Because if we try to see and help and serve each individual person existing in this world, it becomes very difficult. So we have our sphere of responsibility that we take care of, and we have the big picture, which means we always connect to Krishna. And then Krishna sets up a structure for existence in this world that helps us both be peaceful and satisfied here, and it specifically helps us to connect to him, so we don't actually have to go back to this material world. And that's open for everyone, but everyone's not prepared to take that step right away. So that's the battle of Kurukshetra. Krishna wants society to be set up in such a way that it's stable and peaceful, and everything works, so people can live there without worries, and also connected to spiritual realization. So that's what he wants, and that's why he wants the Pandavas, Arjuna and his brothers, to take care of the world. So that's good. It's good to set up the world in such a way that it works, but unless we can also connect to spiritual self-realization so we can get out of the world, it's not complete. So that's where we are, and at this point we cannot see the universal form, we can just read about it, but Arjuna saw it, and it was very convincing. Up to this point he had heard Krishna's words of philosophy, he had heard Krishna refer to the Vedic scriptures, the situation, so many ways. Now he sees it with his own eyes, and then it kind of lifts, the reality of the situation is lifted to a higher level. So we read in the Bhagavad-gita, we cannot manifest the actual vision of the universal form, but we can hear everything that happened, and we can follow Arjuna, and I'm very happy that we're able to do this. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you for watching. We aim for updates every Tuesday and Friday. Please come back. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down there. We also have some links and information for you. And there is, of course, the subscribe button. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
I'm a Hare Krishna, and I approve this message. Subscribe.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,